Kenya went to the elections in August 2022, but the presidential elections were disputed and taken to the Supreme Court for determination. Having listened to both the loser and the winner, the Supreme Court retreated to court to make a verdict, but not before it asked Kenyans to pray to God for it to declare for the country president who rightly won.
You have helped us with the more difficult part, but it is intense, for which reason, therefore, we ask you that you pray to whatever God you pray to, that God will assist us to continue in the spirit we've been in for the last 1 year.
Continue to ask, like the Vice President has said, that you continue to pray for us so that we can render judgment that promotes our constitution, that is anchored in the law, that nurtures our democracy, that brings harmony to our country, and everything good that is stated in our constitution.
Kenyans vehemently prayed that the court does not take the law to be an ass to be flogged to work for it. Yes, indeed, the law has been called an ass in some quarters. Christians with their Bibles, they prayed. Hindus with their Vedas, they prayed. Muslims with their Quran, they prayed. Buddhists with their Tripitaka, they prayed. And indeed, other religions also prayed. Then God directed the prayer of the court, and Kenyans were answered. And Dr. William Ruto was declared president-elect, with the country hearing that much of what the petitioner presented as evidence was hot air and wild geese.
We turn to Form 34A for Gacharago Primary School, which was sensationally presented by Madam Judy Soweto, advocate, to show that one Jose Kamango accessed the RTS and interfered with the result contained therein. This also turned out to be no more than hot air, and we were taken on a wild goose chase that yielded nothing of probative value. The KIMS kit relating to Songonyo Primary School, which bore the same serial number with another, was admitted by IEBC as an inadvertent manufacturer's error. We are also satisfied that the two kits and other identifying features that were markedly different, including the timestamps and polling code, and therefore nothing turns on this anomaly. Therefore, to the question whether there was a difference between Forms 34A uploaded on the IEBC public portal and those received at the National Tallying Center and those issued to the candidates' agents at the polling station, we have found none.
Then came the swearing-in day, and the Deputy President reiterated the need to go back to God for the development of the country that had nothing in its coffers.
President William Ruto, I must tell these people the truth. Despite the fact that you are a hard worker, you have passion to serve, you are zealous, you are a go-getter, the journey ahead of you is not rosy. And I want to ask the people of Kenya, the way you prayed for President William Ruto to be elected as president, please continue praying for him and his team to be able to start the economic transformation of this great republic. Our new president and his team have a difficult task ahead. The truth of the matter is that we have inherited a dilapidated economy that is facing almost an economic shutdown. We have a 10 trillion public debt. 6 million Kenyans have no employment. 14 million Kenyans are in CRB. We have a demoralized public service. It is your prayers that will help our president to put up a team and start work from day one.
But just before the president made his swearing-in speech, he invited the oldest president in the region, popularly known as M7, that is President Museveni of Uganda, to greet the congregation, and he did not miss to give some developmental advice.
You are talking of distributing resources. Where will these resources come from? So all of the political class in Africa, I would appeal to you to answer that question. Where does prosperity come from? Ustawi wa jamii unatoka wapi? According to my experience of 60 years, I would advise Africans to know that prosperity comes from wealth creation. You must create wealth. And wealth is not the same as natural resources. You may have natural resources, but you don't get wealth out of them. The wealth means commercial agriculture, manufacturing, services, hotels, and ICT.
Then President Ruto started working right on day one on the podium by announcing decisions that would require quite some effort. Perhaps that is why his deputy had hinted on continued asking God for guidance.
Ladies and gentlemen, we anchored our campaign on the platform of the economy premise on job creation and the well-being of the people of Kenya, and we have been working continuously on the measures to bring down the cost of living. Our people are confronted daily with increasingly unaffordable prices, especially food and transport. In our economic forums across the country, during the campaign, citizens consistently shared their anxiety, their pain, and their fury on this matter. It therefore calls on us for urgent and decisive resolution. The interventions in place have not borne any fruit. On fuel subsidy alone, the taxpayers have spent a whopping 144 billion, 60 billion in the last 4 months alone. If the subsidy continues to the end of the financial year, it will cost taxpayers 280 billion, equivalent to the entire national government development budget. Additionally, there was an attempt to subsidize UNGA in the run-up to the election, a program that cobbled up 7 billion in 1 month. In addition to being very costly, consumption subsidy interventions are prone to abuse. They distort markets and create uncertainty, including artificial shortages of the very products they seek to subsidize. The cost of living challenges are related in our respectful submission to production. Our strategy to bring down the cost of living is predicated on empowering producers. The forecast for maize harvest this year is below 30 million bags against a normal production of 40 million bags. The main cause of the decline in production is the high cost of farm inputs. Our priority intervention, therefore, is to make fertilizer, good quality seed, and other agricultural inputs affordable and available. For the short rains, we have already made arrangements to make 1.4 million bags of fertilizer available at Kenya shillings 3,500 for a 50-kilogram bag, down from the current 6,500.
The decision to lower agricultural inputs in an agricultural economy was applauded. Let's look at some of its benefits. Yes, we are looking at the agricultural value chain. The president focused on production, on the inputs to production. At this chain of the value chain or the link, there are smallholder farmers, there are farm associations, there are input providers. Then after production, there's harvesting and transport. Again, we have smallholder farmers, farm associations, we have logistics companies. Then there is primary processing and storage, where again we have primary processors, machinery suppliers, to mention just a few. Then there could also be secondary processing, with the secondary processors, machinery suppliers, and so on and so forth. Then the distribution, packaging, and handling. That's packaging companies, logistic companies. And finally, there's the wholesale and retail markets, where we have grocery stores and supermarkets, food and beverage companies. This is a generic agricultural value chain. By focusing on the primary, on the production, by lowering, let's say, fertilizer, the inputs, then we have increased production. The sectors, small farmers, associations, they benefit, but then they have produced more volume to be harvested. Harvesting and the transport started benefits because the actors in this link get more jobs, more volumes of work to do, and so on and so forth. So along the whole value chain, once the production has increased, then the multiplier effect goes through, the fever carries through, the virus goes through, until we have wholesale and retail markets also benefiting. So it just matters to focus on one link, and in this case, the primary link. We could say the mother of all links, because if there's no production, there will be no marketing. No production, no distribution. So by focusing on the inputs, by increasing the volume of production across the value chain, more jobs are created, more work is created, and hence the wisdom of focusing on that part of the value chain of agriculture. Yes, back to our prayers. We can turn to God, but there is a popular Christian belief that God helps only those who help themselves. Although there is no supporting verse in the Bible on this, God helps those who help themselves, there are these verses that are equivalent. Idle hands make one poor, but diligent hands bring riches. That's Proverbs 10:4. For even when we were with you, this we commanded you, that if any would not work, neither should he eat. 2 Thessalonians 3:10. What are we being told here by the Bible? But hold on. The Quran too teaches people to work. Verily, Allah does not change a people's condition unless they change their inner selves. That quote, Surah Ayat 13:11 in the Quran. What are we saying? Yes, we can be going to God to ask for the president. We can be going to God to ask for the president to develop us, but manna never falls from heaven anymore. As much as we go to God, whether you are a Muslim, whether you are a Hindu, whether you are Christian or any other religion, we are told that we must ourselves work. And that's why I'm saying, much as the president lowers fertilizer, let's not sit back and on our laurels and wait every time to be given that manna in quotes from heaven. Let us work.
If you liked this video, please share, like, subscribe, and please leave a comment. For updates on my other works, my other videos, and anything else, please click on the links below.